YouTube? My name is Christian Pokemon Champion, bringing you the news. But first, here's Weatherman CBC with the rules. Thanks CBC. 1. I can only use weather moves to deal any damage in battle. 2. Status moves are allowed, and the rest is kinda obvious. Now back to you, CPC. Nice job with the weather, CPC, and might I say you are handsome. Now challenge, CPC. Begin! I named myself Joe Jr. and replaced Trico with Amora. While they're Gen 6 Pokemon, I wanted to take every advantage weather can provide. In this case, Amora has Snow Warning, which will stream out Hail whenever they enter the battle. I also take the time to catch 4 Zigzagoons and a Wingull. I learned from the Toxic Challenge that having a full team of Pokemon really makes this more manageable. Ew! I swear, why does my nose pick today to have a pimple on it? Once finally entering a battle, I noticed, a very odd problem with Hail. Hail and Sandstorm are supposed to take about 1/16 of each Pokemon's HP. My opponent should then lose in 16 turns. Logically, this wasn't the case whatsoever. In this battle, instead of 16 turns, it took roughly 25 turns to faint this Pokemon. This is a ginormous, like me trying to say this word, this is a ginormous problem. In all these 25 turns, not just my opponent, but my Pokemon too will be pelted with weather. Plus, I'll have to deal with my opponent's attacks. If this isn't corrected by Steven, I don't know if this is gonna be possible. So I'm crossing my fingers. Despite this annoying news, let's see how the first gym handles my weather. Just call me Storm? Why is that a joke? Why would I write that joke? It says I have to be in front of the green screen. I'm just gonna T-pose, hopefully can you even see me? You can't even see my head! Both of my weather Pokemon are weak to rock attacks, so I'd like to avoid as much damage as possible by decreasing their attack stat. Luckily, Nosepass, unlike Geodude, is not a ground type Pokemon, so I'm at least able to use Thunder Wave on them to slow them down. We made it through and just earned our first badge. Now that Roxanne is out of the way, I have up against me the gym I was actually most afraid of. Since my team is basically weak against fighting moves, I had to do a major overhaul of my team. Thinking ahead, I obtained a Nikata. Due to being a bug, fighting moves are ineffective, but since they're also a ground type, they'll be useful for Watson's gym coming up. With the remaining 3 slots, I go with 3 Zubats. I'm honestly kind of worried about facing this gym since I'm gonna be underleveled, especially since he has bulk up. But since training in this challenge is egregious, I have to train 4 new Pokemon? I don't really want to do it. Not gonna lie. Ninkata is perfect for his Machop since he has pretty decent defense. The Zubats would normally be good here too, but since he has Seismic Toss, their defenses won't be too helpful. However, if I switch between them and Ninkata, I minimize the damage output from them. Since Ninkata can learn Sandstorm along with his defense curls, Malkahita was immeasurably easier than Machop. Breaking! And warning to citizens, be on the lookout for rampant focus energy around this region. If it takes 16 turns to faint 1 Pokemon, that'll theoretically be 8 turns of crits to withstand. Alright, back to the challenge, CPC. Anyway, wait, don't tell me this is gonna be a thing. In the meantime, I took the time to accumulate a team for Watson. It's kind of weird changing my team so much in a challenge. Usually I would stick with just the 6 Pokemon the whole run, but this challenge required much more diversity in my team. I came to the conclusion that 2 Odysseus, Ninkata, and Electrike would be optimal. Since Electrike is immune to Watson's electric moves, and the Odysseus will have status moves like Sleep Powder, this should be enough. Back from the training, I took out the car insurance, fought the dreaded rival under the bike path, and destroyed the dreams of a sickly young boy. And now for the gym. I also quickly learned just how useless sleep moves are in this challenge. You'd think it'd be nice if your opponent would go take a little snoozle, but if you're going roughly 30 turns in a row per Pokemon and they wake up mid-battle, oftentimes after only a turn, it loses much of its luster. Voltorb's rollout is somewhat concerning. Thankfully, Ninkata 1v1s them due to Sandstorm and Harden. Magneton's Magnet Bombs were a bit rough to deal with since Memora is 4 times weak to it. Pelipper's Growl at least lessened their effect on my team. All in all, giving me the 3rd gym. Breaking news! It still looks like it takes 17 turns to faint a Pokemon. This might just be possible. For the sake of the challenge, CPC, I believe in you. Now that I had defeated Watson, 2 more Pokemon would become accessible to me that I plan to join the team. First is Nosepass. About that. At least I plan to have them on the team, but then I replace them with another Pokemon. Biggest mistake of my life, but more on that later. The second Pokemon being Slugma, who I definitely keep all the way. Surprisingly, this little hot boy has quite a bit of use for this challenge. Eventually learning the moves Amnesia, Harden, and even Recover for some reason. Theoretically, they can 1v1 every Pokemon, even if they have water or ground attacks. You want a word from me? Keep. With these newfound team members, let's see how I handle the next gym now that advanced moves are off the table. Planary using Sunny Day is really annoying. Stop messing with my forecast! Weather people already have it tough trying to be accurate. At least with Aurorus, I have unlimited hail as long as I switch them in. Nosepass and Pelipper are good counters for Numble's attacks. Lastly, Torko's ability made it tough to lower their attack, but I had just enough defense to outlive them. Here in the desert, one can find the TM for Sandstorm, which will help with making sure I don't lose PP in the Elite Four. Ha, PP. You can also find the Hell Item Safety Goggles, which protects my Pokemon from the weather damaging me. Being traveling to my hometown, my dad was by far the easiest gym of this game. Since I can paralyze his Kings, their ability Truant will be doing most of the work for me. Wait. Is this a Weather Institute? And I get a free cast form? Oh, hell yeah! Either way, we have the aviary gym coming up. You think you control the skies? I control the skies! Since Swallow tends to go for a double team a lot, lowering their attack won't be as practical. I opted for Nami Swan! I like One Piece. A lot. Since they can boost their own stats instead. Doesn't matter if I get critted though. I brought out Shedinja, and I guess the AI is programmed to switch whenever their Pokemon doesn't have a move to hit them. In the meantime, I had to switch into Cast Form, who is at least strong enough to handle them. For Skarmory, I needed to make sure I use Hail, since Sandstorm won't affect them. By the way, I am not okay that Steel Pokemon are immune to Sandstorm. Have you seen what Sand does to Steel? Since Phil Connors has Growl, Super Skarmory can do nothing to me. Last up is Altaria once again. And since they can't harm Shedinja, plus I have Heal Block for their Roost, we earned another win. Stop. Hammer time. Keep being awesome. That's for you guys. Keep being awesome. Oh, the poopy's moving. The poopy's moving. No, there's nothing there. Oh man, I have to pee. I actually kind of have to pee. I'll be right back. Are you Did I miss anything? Oh, I forgot to turn off the light. After obtaining the red orb to destroy, save the world from weather calamity, I headed to Shoal Cave to obtain my final 2 Pokemon, Celio and Snorunt. My rationale being due to their abilities Icy Body, which heals the Pokemon each turn under Hail, and Snow Cloak, which makes attacks miss more often. Guys? What's wrong with your arms? This gym gave me a little trouble, namely the Soul Rock. But as long as I waited out until they run out of that nasty, gross, sunny day, my team can handle the rest. Now I'm not gonna lie, I was truly worried that this challenge would have been impossible. Since Kyogre makes a heavy rain which prevents any other weather move to be used in battle, I thought this point of the game would have ended this run. But thankfully, neither turned out badly. In fact, I never really had to deal with the heavy rain in battle at all, which is weird because I remember that being a thing in the original games. Guys, this challenge might actually be possible. Moving on, the 8th gym is next. Since literally every one of Wallace's Pokemon can't affect Shedinja, this was definitively the most passive gym. It's been a long challenge so far, and the only things left are to fight Wally, who turned out to be a much tougher fight than previously expected, get the Dawnstone to evolve Snorunt into Frostlass, and take on the Elite Four. Okay. I think I'm ready. But why do I keep saying I made a crucial mistake with my team? Huh. Dude, did you get into a got your nose accident when you were a kid? For Mediana, their attacks Sucker Punch and Swagger can easily be outsmarted by switching. By the way, I didn't purposely overlevel my Pokemon. In fact, I didn't even train for any of the gyms past Gym 3. But that's the work of the experience share, baby! Nami Swan handles Shift Tree pretty well, but not so much with Sharpedo. Stinking crits. Walrein, due to their bulkiness, handled the rest. By the way, I think I vastly underestimated just how good Icy Body would really be. Healing every turn is pretty useful. Surprise! Because of Leech Seed, I was a little worried about Cacturn. Even switching doesn't do it this time because it's still recouping enough HP to counter the weather. And this is why I brought Frostlass with move Taunt. Nope, they lost immediately. Well, I guess I gotta wait until they no longer have Leech Slives left. After a very long time, they fainted and Absol was thankfully much easier. Next is Princess Consuela Banana Hammock. You know, I wrote this joke like a year ago and I completely forgot what I was trying to say here. Since Dusclop's doing half the work for me with their curse, they were pretty easy. Stabilized Foul Play only affects you based off your physical attack and not their boosted defenses. But that just couldn't handle a little bad romance. Both of Consuela's Banettes has a nasty move with either Will-O-Wisp or Toxic. Being a physical attacker, Bruce's Growl easily weakens their Dust Noir. Not that I know this Banette is the one with Will-O-Wisp, Nami can easily deal with them without the threat of a status condition, though Spite really was annoying, so I just had to switch back and forth instead, and there you have it. Glacia was the epitome of this challenge's difficulty. Since our entire team is immune to Hail's damage, I'll only have Sandstorm to deal with their team, and what's worse is the fact that most of her Pokemon will have Hail, with the exception to their boss Pokemon. This meant that I had to persevere through all these turns of their Hail. Why? But remember, Steven's team is also immune to Sandstorm, meaning I had to keep in mind both teams when crafting my own. Ultimately, I chose 3 Pokemon with Sandstorm, Shedinja, Aurorus, and Magcargo to have access to Sandstorm, leaving Pelipper, Walrein, and Frostlass with Hail for Steven's team. We'll see how this turns out when I face a dude. But first, Drake. For Altaria, since they use both physical and special moves, I had to lower the physical attack through Bruce, and their special attack through Frostlass. Flygon is out, and yet again, I won't know which Flygon they would be, with one being a special attacker and the other being a physical attacker. Thankfully, I chose the correct Pokemon to face them on. Nami Swan, being my most valuable Pokemon, I depended on them to deal with Drake's Salamence. The Flygon unfortunately did KO Bruce and Elsa, so Walrein, oh, I forgot to give him a nickname. Well, Walrein was able to handle the second Flygon, and Shedinja, oh, I forgot about them too. Man, either way, they can't get hit by Kingdra, so that's another win for us. Justin! You thought I was done. As you can tell from our helicopter cam, Sandstorm and Hail only take 17 turns now, officially. So it just shows you that as long as you're patient, you will see a rainbow. Now back to you, Challenge CPC. Thanks. Alright, Steven, be prepared for a chance of cloudy weather. Immediately, Skarmory was a terrible issue for me. Since they had spikes, they immediately make Shedinja useless in this battle, and I'd like to avoid that if all possible. I roared them away for future CPC to deal with. Fine. I paralyzed the Aggron to make it easier on Walrein to fight them. Cradily has Confuse Ray and Sludge Bomb, meaning to reduce the chances of getting poisoned, I used Attract and Thunder Wave. Skarmory is back. Didn't expect to see you already. I mean, this is the reason why I put Taunt on Frostlass. But since I have Steel Wing, if I take too much damage, I'll have to deal with the Toxic and Spikes again. Even with the combination of Frost's ability, Attract, and Thunder Wave, they were still able to use Spikes. Since I was already several hours into this battle, I'd rather just not use Shedinja than start over. Had I known about Skarmory's Spikes, I wouldn't have used Shedinja. I definitely would have gone with Nosepass. So now I'm out another Pokemon. Not good. Claydol is out. Normally Nami can handle the 4 times effective moves, but this time they didn't have enough. I mean, I'm out so many Pokemon. Pelipper is able to 1v1 basically any Pokemon no matter how strong they are, so at least they could do what Nami couldn't. Their Rock Blast is hugely problematic. With it, they were able to feign Falconers, so it's all on Walrein to deal with them and Steven's ace Pokemon, and they're low on PP on all their moves. Because of this, I need to plan each move very carefully, so that I can make sure I can utilize them strategically on Mega Metagross. Alright, Walrein, it's down to the wire. I already had a couple of stocks piled up, so Growl is my first move. Thankfully, Giga Impact wastes one of their turns to recharge, giving me another turn to weaken them. In spite of lowering the physical attack, I'm sure a single crit could ruin this attempt. Ice Body putting a lot of work here, ensuring that most of their moves doesn't take too much HP. One more Hail, and after 2 more hits from my mighty golf-sized Hail, also my camera died, and I didn't want to re-record. I just barely, by the skin of my teeth, weird saying, we won. Bro, at this point, I just stared at Steven's chiseled good looks for a bit. I was so relieved I won. So my weather channel was put into the Hall of Fame. Let's see if I can get my puppy in here. And that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any prayers, please let me know in the comments below. And with that, I say, keep being awesome.